What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to TTP Sports. Like I said in the previous recap from earlier with the Flyers game, this is still, a test in progress, but we're going to try with the live recaps now. So, yes, this is a very tough one for the Sixers tonight, a very, very ugly game. And honestly, Miami didn't even put up their best performance, but defensively, they were just frustrating the Sixers, the living hell out of the entire night. And that's basically the result that comes up from today, especially when the Sixers throw up, 40 plus threes in this game and only make, 7 or 8 of them. It's not a recipe for success. Also, when you don't have James Harden in this game as well, Joel Embiid had an off night, Tyrese Maxey had an off night as well. And kind of from this game, you would wish some of the other guys would step up too when you don't have James Harden on the floor. So Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid don't have to do everything possible in the world. But sadly, that was the case, and this is the result we get. And I kind of chucked this game up to, one of those you just throw in the trash, you forget about it, and move on to the next one. And that's what the Sixers have to do after this game because they have one on Monday against the Chicago Bulls back in Philadelphia. So it's one of those situations. And yeah, it's still a tough game, but we have to recap it. So before we get into all that stuff, like I said, if you are new to the channel, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. Also, if you are new to the channel, I am grateful for you. Well, if you're a current viewer of the channel, I am grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for any tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTPSPORTS down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So that could be tickets to Sixers games, see Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden at the Wells Fargo Center. Definitely don't want to miss that. Also, if you want to see some Flyers games, you can use that if you want to put yourself through that. Also, when baseball decides to come back and when the NFL season comes back, you can't pass up a $320 in your pocket to use that towards beer or food at these stadiums. And then seriously, you can't pass that up. So use the code TTP Sports. $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So the Sixers lose 99-82 to the Miami Heats, and it was just an off game. Basically, you're coming off of the back-to-back from last night after that big win, and it was just off from basically the beginning. The Miami, they got off to a very strong start, and like I said, Miami just felt like they're offensively just weren't there either. It was a weird game, honestly. Very, very, very weird game. Because if you look at some of Miami's stats, nothing really stands out besides Tyler Hero off the bench putting up 21 points. So that's something that does stand out. Jimmy Butler giving you 21 points as well, but nothing really, gigantic. It just felt like the Sixers in general, because if you look at some of the Sixers stats, especially team stats, 7 of 41 from 3. You're putting up 40 plus threes this game and only making 7 of them. Putting up 40 plus threes is honestly not a recipe for success if you know you're going to drain at least half of those. So no, that's not who the Sixers are. They're not consistently going to put up 40 plus threes a game. And then basically also from the field, they shot 34%, specifically 34.1%, 28 out of 82. That's not who the Sixers are either. And just like some of the players throughout the lineup tonight, you got Joel Embiid putting up 22 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 of 15 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3, but he was perfect from the charity stripe. So yeah, it kind of has felt like Embiid has been a little bit off a little bit. I'm not sure if you could consider he's a little tired, he's a little fatigued, but this was definitely one of the more noticeable ones, especially when James Harden isn't on the floor and Tyrese Maxey wasn't, godlike like he was the past couple of nights. But Joel Embiid, it kind of does feel like he's a little tired. It kind of feels like he's a little fatigued. So does he need a game off here or there? But even though the next couple of games, there's going to be a little bit of discrepancy with a couple of days off here. You got the day off tomorrow before Monday's game against Chicago. You got the 2 days off before the Thursday game against Brooklyn. So there's going to be a couple of days off here and there. So hopefully he can get some rest in there and then, come better, put up better performances in the next couple of games. So I'll just I'm not worried about Joel Embiid at all. He's still even though I think he was talking about like a couple of games ago, he's trying to pace himself. So is this one of those situations where he's just trying to pace himself? And then you go to Tyrese Maxey, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 of 14 from the field, 3 of 6 from three. So he's still shooting the three consistently, and he's hitting it at least. He shot 50% from there. So that's something to see right there. But the only times he went to the free throw line today, he went over 2. So and that was early on in the game where he missed both of those shots. So, yeah, like you really didn't see that much aggressiveness from Tyrese in this game, and it just kind of felt like I said, it felt like everything was just off in this game for the entirety Sixers wise. Matisse Thybulle once again putting up 0 points back-to-back games there, so he's continuing to showcase how much of a liability he is on the floor, and he had some issues tonight, especially guarding certain players. That he was guarding Derek Robinson a little bit, he wasn't able to cover him, and it just felt like certain players from the Heat, especially from Vincent, like it feels like every time he plays the Sixers, he goes off. He went 4 of 6 from three tonight, finishing with 16 points. He was at the dagger basically the entire night. And Robinson, he got off to a hot start, but then he really, really cooled off. He only finished with 6 points, but for some reason, earlier on in the game, it felt like he was just hitting everything. I don't know if that was just me or I'm just crazy at the. Well, probably I am crazy, but at the end of the day, it's just everything was off. I think that's just the entire summary of this thing. Everything was off from the Sixers tonight, and it kind of sucks to see that. But like, I'm not really gonna, harp on the team, but still, looking at some of the other stats from the players, Tobias Harris putting up 16 points. Still, he's improving more offensively every game, putting up those 16 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 of 15 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. So he was perfect there. But then also, Furkan Korkmaz gets into the starting rotation in this game in replace of James Harden. And yeah, only putting up 2 points, 0 of 4 from three, 1 of 5 from the field. And the Furkan, man, sucks. He sucks. And I don't know, watching from this game, what Doc Rivers does now with Furkan going down the rest of the road on how much, because his minutes have been really getting diminished the past couple of games for how much he is struggling. And just over this gigantic stretch of Furkan struggling in general, who knows how many more, was this the last chance for Doc Rivers to give like Furkan this big chance that, hey, Furkan, we don't have James Harden in this game. This is your chance to probably try to wake up from this major slump that you're going through and try to contribute something, and he still can't. And basically, even like I'm not a Furkan supporter whatsoever. I think he's a bad basketball player, but still, like this was a night that you would like to see Furkan step up a little bit, and some of the other guys too, like Matisse Thybulle, he didn't step up. Really, the only guys, if you're looking at from the bench, Niang. Niang once again even though he only went 1 of 8 from three today, like he put up 9 points. Like he's still showcasing that off of the bench, he's like one of the more reliable guys. But still, looking at some of these other bench guys, you got Millsap. There was this 1 3 that he took that was just completely off the mark. I don't even know if he. I don't know if it got tipped. I don't know if it was just a complete air ball. It was just, oh God, it was bad. It was so bad. He got 4 points off of the bench. Danny Green in 20 minutes gets 6 points. Both of those shots were threes. Yeah, Paul. Even though Paul Reed, he barely factored into this game. He was only in the garbage time. Shake Milton in 24 minutes, only giving you 4 points. So yeah, these are like situations. And Isaiah Joe, he got 2 points in this game in 9 minutes. Like you would like, I guess, in this type of game where a lot of other guys are struggling, you would like to see Doc Rivers throw him in for a little more minutes just to see what he can contribute. But like when you see him miss that 1 3 that he took in this game, you knew Doc was really wasn't going to play him the rest of the game. So not that much from Isaiah Joe there. But seriously, this is like more of a situation where, like I said, when you don't have James Harden in this game, you would like to see some of the other guys step up as well, besides a Joel Embiid and a Tyrese Maxey, and maybe even a Tobias Harris too. I would love to see Matisse Thybulle put up more, but the continuation of his being an offensive liability is, in games where he struggles defensively, become very, very more increasing. And it's becoming a real issue. And Furkan Korkmaz, I just don't know. I do not know what Furkan. I just don't. I really like, this is like one of the, even though this game in general is one of the biggest duds of duds in the world, and it's one of those games where you just throw in the trash completely. I don't know what you do for Furkan. I just don't. I don't know, like, especially come playoff time, how much Doc Rivers is going to shorten the bench. I doubt Furkan. Hopefully, he's not going to be any part of the bench rotation come playoff time. But man, my God, Furkan. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness, Furkan Korkmaz. And this was just a very bad game from the Sixers. Like, there's really like not much to look into. It was just a bad game. It was just one of those games where it's just a complete dud. So yeah, it was an ugly performance. Would I like to see some of the players step up more? Would I like to see Joel Embiid put up a dominating performance? Yes. Would I like to see Tyrese Maxey to continue to be dominant? Yes. But that's not going to happen every single night, and that's not reality at this point. Tyrese Maxey, for how young he is and for how dominant he has been over the stretch since James Harden has been here, he's going to have his off nights eventually. Like, he was due for an off night, and that came at probably one of the more, I guess, obvious times when, especially from the big game that he had last night, to where you go into a back-to-back in Miami, you're traveling. It's basically a 24-hour turn there. And like, I shouldn't expect him to put up another 30 plus night after he just did it basically 24 less hours ago. So that's basically one of those situations. And then other things. It's just other people I would hope to step up more than a Joel Embiid and a Tyrese Maxey at this point. And sadly, that just did not happen. And this game was just, like I said, throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. Move on to the next game. You're most likely going to have James Harden back in the lineup then. So I'm not overly worried about this thing, even though for how frustrating this game was, this is not who the Sixers are. They're not a team that's going to throw up 40 plus threes in this game and only make 7 of them. One, they're not going to throw up 40 plus threes in the game in general. Like, that's just absurd. Like, why are you throwing up that many shots from beyond the arc? That's just ridiculous at that point. And for the only guys to be making threes in this game, mainly majority of them from Tyrese Maxey. And if you look at the game tonight, basically 2 of those were from Danny Green, 3 of those were from Tyrese Maxey, 1 of those was from Tobias Harris, and 1 of those was from George Niang. So I don't see this team throwing up that many threes in a game and missing that many times. I just don't expect that whatsoever. So throw this game in the trash, completely forget about it, because honestly, Miami did not have that good of a night either. They were just excruciatingly frustrating defensively for this team, and just move on to the next game against the Chicago Bulls. Completely move on, and that's what you have to do. So what are your thoughts on this video, everyone? What are your thoughts on just this game in general? Are you frustrated? Are you not? Or are you not worried about this? Or are you frustrated? Or are you not worried? I want to hear those thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. So don't forget to leave those down there. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the painted lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Florida Pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Don't forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that sub button. I will greatly appreciate that. And also use the code TTPSPORTS down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.